There's more. Like there's more like with her dogs, with her horses, with her goats, but I ain't gonna say anything more. It's depressing. Oh yeah, her chickens too. I hate when people keep their rabbits outside 24/7, especially in extreme weather. Yeah. I mean, I feel like my family's a little bit like they treat animals, I don't know, like I guess you would consider an ant. Like they treat them like they're not, I don't know. Like I grew up in like a household that, like, you know, when we had rabbits, they stayed outside all the time. We had birds, they stayed outside all the time. We had dogs and cats, they never, like, we literally just let them outside to do what they want. Like when I was younger, I lost so many cats, I lost so many dogs. So like my birds flew away, my rabbits ran away, like it. And then like how I take care of my animals is considered cushy. You know, it's considered like too nice kind of thing. Like, oh, you baby your animals. I'm like, no, I keep them alive and treat them with respect and love them. Like when I was younger, my dog did survive. I want to preface this. My dog did live this, which is why her name was Lucky. But when I was younger, when I was getting picked up by the bus, I didn't even know how my old house was set up is it was like long ass driveway, road, and then a bunch of woods past there, right? I didn't know my dog was out there, right? And the bus was coming, and my dog saw me and fucking darted for me. And then like my dog literally like hopped onto the road and just got fucking smacked by the bus. Like I couldn't blame the bus driver because the bus driver like didn't even see it coming. Because my dog just fucking darted. And I like literally right in front of me when I was like in what, 4th grade, I just see my dog get fucking smacked by the bus. She survived, and she lived until a ripe old age. She actually did, so. But it was just crazy. Lucky was in fact the perfect name. You want to know why we called her Lucky? Is because basically this dude kept having this dog come in his yard. And I remember like I think it was our neighbor, and he was telling my parents about it, and he's like, yeah, next time I see that dog, I'm shooting it. Like he's like, next time I see that dog's dying. And then mom's like, well, like I can take the dog. Like I can take the dog in. He's like, well, you better find that dog because next time I see it, it's getting shot. And so my parents ended up taking in the dog. Jesus, I mean, that's pretty normal for my town. I lived in bumfuck nowhere, chat. Like I lived in the middle of nowhere. Like that's how people treated animals. I know you don't like the animal. Why threaten to shoot it? So there's this weird thing with like men where my dad does it a lot, where they think it's cool and badass to talk about like how you're gonna shoot an animal. Not even like they think it's like manly to shoot an animal and kill an animal. Like, for example, when my one of my dogs was like, he was getting really old, and I remember I came over to my parents' house and he was over there just like bragging about, it's like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna take him out to the back and just shoot him. You know, I'm gonna start digging a hole. You know, I think I'm just gonna take him up and just kill him. You know. And then even my mom was like, no, you're not. He's like, no, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it. And then you know what's funny about it? Whenever my mom finally took Sam to get put down, my dad bawled like a fucking baby. And I remember my mom texting me that because she thought it was hilarious. Because she's like, he's over here bragging about how he wants to fucking kill him. And then he cries like a baby when he gets, like, I'm like, dude, really? Like, I don't, why do men think that it's cool to be a psycho? Like, I don't get it. Why do they think it's cool to be like, yeah, I'd fucking kill a dog. I don't care, bro. I'd fucking kill it right now. Like, what the fuck? Geeky, thank you so much for 28 months. It's performative? Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. It's just like, what's the point? I don't get it. Thank you, Hannah B, for 3 months. Like, you love on the pet, and then you're like, yeah, I'll take it out back right now. It's fucking wild. Dude, he always acts, I mean, I feel like he's gotten a little better over time. But he always used to act like that with the animals. He's like, oh, fuck this dude. Get the fuck out of here, stupid animal. You know, like he treated it like shit. He'd hit my fucking dogs. He'd kick them. He'd hit them. But then he, like, you know, like behind the scenes, he'd actually like love the dog. But he didn't want to show that he loved the dog. So he beat the shit out of it. Thank you, Sarah, for 10 months. Emotions equal female. True. Yeah, I'm a murderer. Yeah, I kill people. What of it? That's like, is that cool? Is that cool, man? Kind of glad I never knew my biological dad. He was never involved in me and my twins' life. Yeah, I mean, I never really knew my biological dad. No offense, Pig, but your dad sucks? Yeah. He has his good moments. He has his bad moments. A lot of bad moments. I think over time I realized, because unironically, I feel like he is a good person deep down, but his only thing that holds him back is he doesn't want to look gay. Is he doesn't want to look feminine. Because there's a lot of moments in my life where he does something very kind out of nowhere. Like he will take care of people. He will help people who are in need. Like he will help homeless people. He will help people who are getting through drug addictions. But whenever, like, you know, any feminine emotion pops out, boom, he's back to being a complete piece of shit. I mean, he also loves Trump, but that's just because he's not that right. But you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of men are plagued with that. Like, I don't really know much about my biological dad, but I know bro was fucking insane. He was like one of those dudes that was like charismatic in terms of like when you hang out with him, he seems like a cool guy, but he's like one of the worst people ever. But I don't know what it is. A lot of men are plagued with like, they have potential to be good, but the weird like societal masculine thing holds them back from being a good person. You know what I mean? Thankfully, my dad's cool as fuck, plays D&D and believes in human rights. See, chat, you got to break the cycle. See, my son thinks I'm cool, I think. So, boom, take that, libs. Always enjoy the Yap Sesh Pig. We have really great convos here. I agree. We trauma dump. we yap about the world. See the Perez Hilton thing? Huh? My dad's great. Sadly, he's not the brightest and supports Trump, but other than that, he's a great guy. Yeah, it's hard to say great guy and supports Trump in the same sentence. Because I feel like I get what you're saying. Like, I could probably say the same thing about my dad, right? I could like, because he does show like he has a good heart, right? But he's so ignorant and he refuses to learn. So it's like, you know, it's a very weird situation. Perez Hilton hospitalized after live streaming self-harm on TikTok? What? Police responded to Perez Hilton Miami house after he appeared to harm himself on a live stream. After confirming the celebrity gossip blogger was alone in the house, authorities later said he was safely recovered and transported to Miami Fire Rescue to a local hospital where he's receiving medical attention. What did he do? Celebrity gossip blogger appeared to be harming himself on TikTok, and graphic clips were posted on social media. Hilton appeared manic, could be seen in the live stream covered in blood, using an object to cut himself repeatedly. Oh. Multiple calls about a person live streaming acts of self-harm after authorities confirmed Hilton was alone. Deputies decided to tactically disengage while continuing to monitor the situation. What the hell? He's also nude during this too? Holy shit. He was covered? I thought it was fake at first. Why would people repost this on social media? Really? You're really gonna ask that question? You're really gonna ask that question? Thank you, Full Metal, for the $2. Saw the video. He was head to toe in red, naked. Jesus. Is it bad that I don't know who that guy is, though? It's crazy. I just don't know who that is. A gossip blogger? Yeah, I need to trim my mustache, bro. Oh my god. Getting scraggly. He's the worst? Oh. He's an awful human being? Oh. Toxic celebrity journalist. Got it. I hate eating my mustache? Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Really annoying. Dude, I hate getting food in my mustache. I think, you know what it is? I think ice cream is by far the most annoying thing when I have a mustache. Get a better mustache? I have a good mustache. The fuck are you talking about? It's thick. It's big. I just gotta trim it. What do you mean? What do you mean get a better mustache? Show me a better mustache. You can't. Getting stuff in my beard makes me hate it a lot. Yeah. I think that's why I'm never gonna grow out. Like, you know, I'm just gonna keep it light. Dude, I don't know how people do it. Like how people do like the fucking like beards. I'm like, bro, how do you do that shit? I hope someday you could twirl it. I kind of can right now. Just not, I don't have like stuff for it. Kind of. Yes. Yes. Quite frankly, I have the best mustache, the biggest, the largest mustache. You'll never find a mustache like this around here. I met a man with a curly mustache, and when I complimented him, he gave me a tiny pink dinosaur. That actually is like what comes with getting a curly mustache. That comes with it. Get some mustache oil and things. The thing is, I do it for a day and then I just not care anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd probably be like, oh, this looks cool. I like it. And then I'll just be like, I ain't ever doing that again. Like, same with like hair product and shit. Like, bro, I ain't got time for this shit. I need to start doing like under eye cream. Because I have like permanent bags under my eyes, even if I'm not tired. Like, as you could see, like no matter what, I always look like I'm tired. He used to have lovely long hair. I hated it. Oh, Lord. You have no idea how much I hated having long hair. I felt like the only reason I kept it is I felt like I liked what it looked like. Like. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't miss it. I do not miss it at all. You look younger with short hair. Yeah, my wife likes me with short hair better, which is another reason why I'm going to keep it short. Because I remember after I got my hair cut, I was like, do you like it? She's like, oh my gosh, it's so much better. I was like, wait, you didn't like me with long hair? She's like, well, I mean, I liked it, but like, I don't know. She told me it aged me. I'm like, yeah, I could see that. You ever gonna dye your hair again? Hell no, unless I like make it a sub goal or some shit. For those people who dye your hair, you probably know why. It destroys your hair, and taking care of it is a giant pain in the ass. Like, it's funny because Amy, she stopped dyeing her hair recently. And she was like, oh my, she's like, my hair is just so soft. I'm like, yeah, I know, right? Like, isn't it crazy? Because I used to dye my hair all the time, but like, oh my God, it's so nice not having like fried hair, dude. Is that dude still commenting about your hair? He probably unfollowed me a while ago. I haven't seen him in a while. But to be fair, my Instagram has been like blowing up. Chat, I need to find more short videos to watch. Cause like that clip of fucking of Tobuscus is at 1 million views. I need to find more clips, chat, because my Instagram is like going crazy numbers, bro. I need to find more clips. You guys don't clip shit, by the way, dude. I remember the other day, I was like looking through. I was like, I wonder if you guys have clipped anything. Literally for the past like 2 weeks, 0 clips. Like, goddamn, guys, what do I pay you for? What do I pay you guys for? Goddamn. Disgusting. We're too zoned into the stream to clip. I mean, yeah, I get it. The only time I ever clip someone's stream is when I'm showing Amy something, or I'm like showing it to somebody else. But if I'm like just watching a stream to watch a stream, I never clip anything. I only clip something when I'm like, hey, I gotta show someone this. Give us shit to clip then? What are you talking about? I'm a clippable streamer. Are you serious? You know what pisses me off though? Anytime you guys clip, it's always to make me look bad. It's always like me out of context saying like, oh, you know, black people kind of suck or something like that. You guys are gonna clip that out of context. And every time I look through the clips, it's always just out of context bullshit of me like mocking someone or being sarcastic. Yeah, see, look, now all of you are foaming at the mouth. All of you are foaming at the mouth to try to clip that shit. You suck. Oh my God. See? You guys are the worst. You took the bait? What bait? There was no bait. All right, I'm done. I'm done. I can't even use an example because it was whatever. It's whatever. It's whatever. Shrek trilogy review when? Never. Stream ends immediately. Yeah. Yo, Granddaddy Shogun, thank you so much for $30. Hey, Pig, been watching since 2016. I love the new stream schedule. Since I can't catch you live, I appreciate the new content, man. Since I got ads blocked here, some scratch to make up for it. Thank you so much. Thank you. What a true gentleman. Giving money because he has ad blocker? Like what? That's based. What is this? This better not be what I think it is. Black people kind of suck. Guys! What did I say? Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, bro. I hate you guys. I hate you guys so much. Oh, I hate you guys so much. You guys are the worst. Actually the worst. Actually the worst. I hate you guys so much. Oh my god. I didn't do shit. I didn't do anything. You walked into. I was using it as an example. I told you to pick a different race. What would it matter? What would it matter if it was a different race? It would still look bad no matter what. I hate it here. All right. We got some videos to watch. You right now?
So what you're saying is, it's all downhill for Mystery Inc.
No! Hey, you're doing that thing again where you take everything I say out of context. You're trying to make it look like I think Coolsville sucks. No! Don't record that!
All Fred Jones had to say was,
I think Coolsville sucks.
Yeah, this is actually you guys. Oh my god. Dude, what a mythical poll there. Oh my god. Dear John Doe, thank you so much for 50 DKK. I don't have ad blocker on my TV, but here's a little donation anyway. Thank you so much. Dude, I'm just gonna look up I'm just gonna look it up just so I know how to thank you. $7.73. Thank you so much. Thank you. I need to gauge my reaction, because sometimes I'm like, oh, someone gave me like 200 of something. I'm like, is that a lot? Is that not, you know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, $7 is a lot. I'm just saying, like, you know, like, what if someone randomly gives me like 200 bucks and I don't even realize? You know what I'm saying? Donkey Kong coin? Yeah. I think it's is it Dutch? Danish krone. That's what it is. Dude, I didn't even think about it. We're probably gonna get a lot of different currencies since I'm streaming in the morning, because there's a lot of you know, since people in different countries could actually watch now. Because when I stream at night, that's like when they're in bed. Or wait, when I stream at night, yeah, it would be like 4 in the morning for them. So I love this guy and his alien clothing brand. Indie Mouse, what the hell are you doing here? What? Yeah, that's me. That's me. Chat, that's me. I got the alien brand, by the way. It's he rebranded though. What is it now? It's he changed it to oh my god, what is it called? I can't even think of it now. What did he rebrand it to? Oh my god, I can't think of it. I opened Twitch once a year and had to make fun of the pig. Plot armor. Thank you, Indie Mouse. Now I don't look like an idiot. I literally am friends with this dude. I don't even know. Yeah, long time no see, bro. Long time no see. Goddamn. Dude, I gotta get a fucking message from Jimmy today. Like, bro, I can't believe you fucking forgot my brand name. I'm in Turkey now. It's 7 p.m. Perfect. Yeah, I'm liking the new mornings. I like mornings. I feel like it's a good balance for everybody. Because UKers can watch, and American losers can watch. They could wake up, you know, breathe in the data center chemicals that are polluting the air, you know, drink their microplastics in the morning. Oh my God, bro. Honestly, can't remember the last time we chat. 2 minutes of ads when I'm trying to talk to my friend. This is why I don't open Twitch. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, Twitch is pretty bad with ads. I'll give you that. I don't know if you can hear me right now, so I don't know if I should say anything. But yeah, it's probably been a solid 3 years. I'm just taking a guess. It's definitely been years. Drinking my microplastic coffee while you play in the background of my super fun corporate job. Rosa Lilies, thank you so much for the gifted sub to Indie Mouse. Oh, thank you. Hell yeah. Yeah, I go to Twitch, be having 3 minutes of ads, so I stick to YouTube Premium now. I mean, Twitch does have like Twitch Turbo. I don't know how much Twitch Turbo costs though. I don't know if it's better than YouTube Premium. I feel like it depends. Like obviously if, you know, you watch more YouTube than you do Twitch is better, but I'm so back. Yeah. How long were those ads? YouTube Premium is goated service for sure. Yeah, I feel like it has more than Twitch Turbo. Because I know Twitch Turbo, I think all they pretty much got is no ads. And I think higher quality streams or something.
New tip from Rosagakamatsu. Rosagakamatsu supported with 5. I'm back. I'm at work though I would give 200 if I could. W, but how is? I work with CNC machines for a living.
CNC machines?
How's stuff going with the coffee shop? I still find your reaction about my uncle funny by the way XD.
Dude, every time...
I'm also doing a capstone project that will be streamed on YT in August.
Every time I see your name, I'm just going to think of your uncle. Thank you so much for the $5. Coffee shop didn't work out because the economy. We might do a coffee trailer in the future, but the location we were at, the manager at the building basically sabotaged our business. And a lot of the workers there, it's a lot of shit. It's not just the economy that we had to stop our coffee shop, but it also had to do with the people there. The people they didn't allow us to hang up signs to promote our business. They didn't allow us to like promote anything. It was a clusterfuck. We got taken advantage of pretty hard. Australia's a prime zone for coffee. Just head on down. Dude, I would. I totally would. I want to, bro, I want to get out of America. Get me out, bro. Get me out, please. I hate it here. Did you have any regular customers? Yeah, we had a lot of regular customers. A lot of them are really upset because like, the thing is like we were in an area where no one, like all they had was shitty coffee. They had gas station coffee. So when they try our coffee, they're like, holy shit. Because they've never had fresh coffee, like, you know, freshly roasted beans, good ass coffee. So the people who tried our shit came back. It was just like, you know. Also, Amy is an amazing fucking baker, and oh my god, like her scones sold so well. That's one thing that they really are gonna miss. Isn't shops kind of the thing that keeps the mall running? Mall? No, it's not a mall. It was a grocery store. It was like it's like a little rental shop inside the grocery store, basically. Australia has so many 10 out of 10 coffee places. Damn. Yeah, we should definitely, me and Amy will definitely do that sometime. Whenever we get out of this dumbass house and have extra money, we definitely want to travel. Yeah, shitty grocery store with shitty people and shitty layouts. Yep. Yeah, we're probably gonna do a trailer. I think right, honestly, once we get past all this like bullshit with having to sell the house, having to move our animals, etc., then we'll probably have time and money to actually like work on the coffee trailer. But we have to get over all this bullshit that I'm dealing with right now. Dude, am I crazy? Ezra's starting school in like a week. Is that early? Like, I feel like that's really early. Like, I was like, all of a sudden I got an email. It's like, can't wait to go back to school in a week. I'm like, huh? What? Why are you selling the house? Because I have to. Economy, skyrocketing house prices. Mortgage raised like 30-40%, blah blah blah. Kids already started here? Really? I feel like school is starting earlier and earlier. My kids don't start until the 17th. Yeah, we start on the 15th. I mean, I don't mind it because, like, Ezra gets to go back to school. It means I get more time to, like, work and do shit. Because, you know, wish I could say our prices are better down here. Are they really not? I mean, I don't really know much about Australia, but, I mean, the housing prices in America is, like, crazy right now. My son's starting on the 27th. I have to start school on the 6th. I'm ready for school to start, so all the kids in my apartment are actually gone during the day instead of jumping on my ceiling. Oh yeah, I can imagine that'd be annoying. I mean, places like New York and LA might have us beat, but Sydney is in the top 10 most expensive in the world for sure. Oh wow. I didn't think about Sydney. I mean, New York's actually better now because you know, prices in terms of living there is a lot better now because of Mr. Mamdani. Down here in Raleigh, a shed is almost $500,000. I'm never going to own a home here. Jesus Christ. That's why I live outside St. Louis, because St. Louis already isn't that expensive. And the suburbs outside of St. Louis are a little bit cheaper than that. So it's still expensive, still very expensive, but I guess more manageable. No, he actually didn't have a dentist appointment today. I was stupid. It's actually tomorrow, which is why I'm streaming, because I was planning on not streaming today because he had a dentist appointment, but his dentist appointment is tomorrow, so I'm probably not gonna stream tomorrow. All right, I gotta stop yapping. I gotta pee. I gotta pee first. And then we'll do some react slop. 1 second. All right. All right, you guys ready for your react slop? You guys ready? You ready to eat your react slop? Pigs should start wearing diapers on stream, more efficient. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Like your pants, they're very swaggy. Thanks. Permission to swag out. All right, what do we want? Do we want to watch something? Do we want to watch some true crime? Do we want to watch scary? Or, that's it. That's all I got today. I don't have any funnies. We did the funnies yesterday. We watched the funny shit yesterday. Get a catheter? Even better. Even better. Did you wash your hands? What do you mean? I pissed on them. Nature's own soap. Thank you so much, Dark Killer, for the 21 months. My chat won't move, so I can't see what you said. This is why I live in the boondocks of Pennsylvania. Everybody knows everybody and get cheaper prices on things. Yeah, there is a benefit to living in the middle of nowhere. Definitely, when it comes to money. But, like, at what cost? I mean, I'm sure some, like, small towns are actually good. But a lot of the small towns I used to live in are a bunch of racist chuds who do a lot of drugs. All right. Let's begin. How police captured the luckiest killer in Texas. How do you call a killer lucky? Huh. Lucky you. You killed someone.
I need you to get fire, CID, looks like a body that's burning.
In the middle of this field lies the burning body of an unidentified woman. Unfortunately for tech.
Wait. Okay, I'm pause maxing? Hello? My pause maxing game is insane? Hello? But anyway, I feel like I've seen this. Yeah, we've seen this. We've seen this. Or we've seen a different video of this. Did we see the whole thing though? I don't remember. I don't like, is there any, you think there's anything new in this? Thoughts? Should we watch it? Yeah, it's the dog one. We saw the full story? Okay. Then we'll pick something else. Drop the spoilers now. I don't remember all of it. Basically, dog of the owner helped find the body. Killer got found because of the dog, I think. Dog was fine. The dog, it's just like, the dog just helped, basically. All right. The horrifying discovery that closed this camp forever.
Take a look at this campground. This was a campground in a densely wooded area of Oklahoma. On the morning of June 13th, 1977, a camp counselor was walking through the campground when she noticed...
Okay, I'm just going to say it right now. Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and camps and shit like that. It's weird, bro. It's all weird. It's all weird. It's all sus. I don't like it. Don't like it at all.
Strange up ahead on the ground.
Like summer
at first,
camps?
she couldn't tell what she was looking at, but when she could, the discovery would be one of the most gruesome and horrifying incidents in Oklahoma history. And although the events in this video are fleeting and non-descriptive, they are still highly disturbing, so viewer discretion is strongly advised.
Oh, chat. Should we not watch it? I know you guys hate when viewer discretion is advised. I know you guys are very sensitive to murder and death. Oh, wait. It gets copyrighted. I forget.
Camp Scott sat just outside the small town of Locust Grove, Oklahoma, on a stretch of land where the trees were thick and the outside world seemed distant. The camp had been around for decades by 1977, and over time it had built a reputation as a safe and trusted destination for Girl Scouts across the region. For many families, sending their daughters to Camp Scott was like a tradition. It was a place where kids could spend a couple of weeks outdoors, meet new friends, and come home with stories about nights around the campfire and days full of small adventure.
Yeah, horror stories.
The property itself was large and heavily wooded, with walking trails through the trees and small clearings where different parts of the camp had been set up. And instead of one central cluster of buildings, everything was spread out across the 400-acre property. Campers were divided into smaller groups, and each group was assigned to its own section of the camp. Those sections were called units, and each one had its name, its own set of tents, and a counselor nearby to keep an eye on things. The tents themselves weren't much more than canvas stretched over wooden platforms. Then inside, each had 4 cots and just enough room for a handful of girls to sleep and keep their belongings. It was simple, but that was all really part of the appeal. The whole experience was meant to be a little removed from everyday life. Each unit was also arranged so that the tents sat in a loose row or curve, with the counselor's tent positioned close enough to monitor things. This helped to create a balance where the girls felt like they had space on their own, but there was also supervision within reach. Now, one of these units, called Kiowa, sat a bit farther back into the trees than some of the others. It wasn't dramatically isolated, but it was just far enough from
camping, but does rave camping count? I guess. Like, what is rave camping? Like, you do it on LSD? I've camped a lot. Camping sucks. Like, let me rephrase that. Camping with people who you don't want to camp with sucks. I feel like if you're camping with, like, you know, people who you really enjoy being around, it's great. But camping with people you hate sucks, bro.
That it felt quieter and more secluded. The terrain there was also uneven, and the trees grew thick enough in some places to block parts of the unit from view. The camp's shower area also sat nearby, adding another layer of separation between Kiowa and the rest of the activity. At the end of this unit was tent number 8, and like every other one in the camp, it was plain and functional. If you walked past it during the day, you wouldn't have given it a second thought, and until June 13th, 1977, there was no reason to. A couple of months before that day, though, Camp Scott was already in use, not for kids yet, but for training. Counselors had gathered at the site in April to get ready for the upcoming season, and it was supposed to be a rather routine weekend. At some point during that session, however, everything changed in a dark and disturbing way.
When the hell did you go camping with someone you hate? Who was it? What are you talking about? My family went camping all the time with a bunch of strangers that were friends with them. Did all the time. Fucking sucked, bro. Literally just had to hang out with myself. It was awful.
The counselor cabins had been broken into, and inside, things had been disturbed. Personal belongings were moved around and scattered.
Bunch of old people getting drunk out in the middle of nowhere, and I just have to do nothing. It's awful.
Items were either taken or tossed aside. It wasn't a full-scale ransacking.
Yo, Zoe,
it was enough to be unsettling. Someone had clearly been there.
Camping in the woods alone is the most sketchy? Oh, yeah. Whoever does that shit is insane. Like, yeah, that's just crazy.
It wasn't supposed to be. As camp staff scoured the frightening scene, that's when they found the note. It had been left behind in an empty box of donuts. It was handwritten and terrifying in its simple and direct language. It said that whoever wrote it was planning to kill 3 girls in a tent. There was something else too. Not far from the cabin, someone had taken the time to put together a crude figure or effigy.
Yeah, time to run. Time to go home, children.
And hang it from a tree by a noose. Paired with the break-in and note, it made the whole thing incredibly creepy. At the same time though, there were some details that made the entire thing easy to dismiss.
Oh.
The note itself didn't read like something carefully thought out. Along with the threat, it included odd references to Martians and things that didn't make much sense.
Dude, I feel like that would make it even freakier. Because you know whoever wrote this ain't right in the head.
Made it feel more like a bad joke than a warning. It started to seem like the kind of thing someone might do to just get a reaction, and that's how it was all eventually treated. The break-in was written off, the note was thrown
it was the 70s. They like back then they didn't give a fuck about anything.
away, and the incident was chalked up to a prank. Maybe it was some local messing around, or maybe a bored counselor trying to scare her counterparts. Either way, it didn't seem serious enough to alter anything. No major security changes were made, and no one delayed the opening of the camp.
I'm gonna kill all the children. Ha ha ha. Yeah, that's a funny joke.
Plans moved forward exactly as they had before, and by the time June rolled around, the whole thing had already started to fade into the background.
Did you ever stay the night at an abandoned house? I've already done that before in my life.
On June 12, 1977, Camp Scott came to life the way it did every summer. Buses rolled in from the Tulsa area, carrying more than 130 Girl Scouts ready to start the first 2-week session of the summer. The quiet of the wilderness was replaced by kids talking over each other and counselors calling out in all directions. It didn't take long for the place to feel full and alive. For a lot of the girls, though, this was their first real taste of being away from home, and you could see it in the way they stepped off the buses. Some were excited and some were unsure, but tried to act braver than they felt.
Yeah.
Among the girls arriving that day were 3 who would end up sharing tent number 8 in the Kiowa unit.
3.
Lori was the youngest camper
I don't like that because the dude said he's gonna kill 3 kids.
there that summer at just 8 years old. Michelle, who was 9, had been to Camp Scott before and had at least some idea of what to expect. Doris, meanwhile, who was 10 years old and went by her middle name Denise, was stepping into something completely new. She hadn't even been sure about coming in the first place. 2 of her friends had backed out of the trip, and without them, the idea of spending days in an unfamiliar place with unfamiliar people didn't sit well with her. It even took some encouragement from her mother to convince her to go.
Oh man, that mom has gotta feel awful.
Once Denise arrived, though, the counselors made an effort to keep an eye on her to ensure that she didn't feel out of place. Denise was also the only black camper at Camp Scott that session, and it was something that didn't go unnoticed.
Oh no.
The staff, though, tried to make sure she felt included and no different from any of the other girls that arrived that day. The 3 girls, Lori, Michelle, and
Yeah, the friends that backed out of the trip, yeah, they must have.
Denise had never met before that day, but like a lot of kids in that setting, they didn't stay strangers for long. They found themselves assigned to the same tent, along with a 4th camper who wasn't scheduled to arrive until the following day. So for that first night at camp, it would be just the 3 of them. Individually, they were all on the quieter side, but put together, they blended in with the rest of the camp without much trouble. And rather quickly, their tent was filled with just as much chatter and laughter as the others. As the evening went on, everyone gathered together for the first campfire. Songs were sung, introductions were made, and whatever nerves were still hanging around started to settle. It was the kind of night Camp Scott had seen countless times before, and the 1977 summer session couldn't have gotten off to.
I don't like when kids die? Wow, what a hot take to say in my chat. That's very brave of you to say that you don't like when kids die. Yo, that's a hot take.
To a better start. Eventually, the fire burned down and the campers were sent back to their tents to get settled in for the night.
Yeah, glamping is peak.
Flashlights clicked on and off as kids joked around inside their tents or wrote in their journals, but eventually, one by one, the lights of Camp Scott went out. Once they did, though, the entire scene changed. Without any artificial light, the darkness of the wilderness settled in completely. It wasn't like being in Tulsa, where there was always some glow of lights from somewhere. Out near Locust Grove, the darkness was total. Some girls would later say it was so dark that they couldn't tell if their eyes were open or closed. The sounds faded too, and what had been a loud, busy place just an hour earlier grew quiet as everyone drifted off to sleep.
Did you want to know, like, one time where it was so dark that, like, even if I closed my eyes, it didn't, like, change anything? Because when we went on this ghost tour of this, like, haunted house, it pissed me off so much, man. Oh my God. So it's like, quote unquote, the most haunted place in this area, right? And we didn't even get to go into the house because the house is under construction, right? And we had to pay for this. So instead we went into this like cellar, and it was like a stone cellar. Like it was like completely made of like stone. Dude, it pissed me off so much because like, they're like, okay, we're going to turn off the lights. Okay, I'm just letting you know it's going to be really dark. They turn off the lights, and then I hear people, oh my God, something touched me. Oh my God, I felt something. Oh my God, I heard something. And like, oh bro, it pissed me off so goddamn much, man. It was like the most gimmicky bullshit ever. Like, I wanted to like look at it for like the historical aspects, and like, sure, the ghost stuff is cool because Amy likes the ghost stuff, but we didn't even get to go into the fucking house, which was the haunted spot. We went in the fucking cellar, and then I had a bunch of fucking like loser people with me, and they're like, "Oh my god, like I'm so scared. There's a ghost." No, there isn't. Shut up. Sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know why it made me think of that. I don't know why it made me think of that.
The night wore on, though, and the stillness of the camp was broken. Sometime around 1:30 in the morning, a counselor named Carla heard something that immediately got her attention.
Thank you, Dead
It sounded like a faint moaning coming from somewhere nearby, from the direction of one of the tents. She then got up and stepped outside to check things out. Out in the darkness, though, there wasn't much going on. There was no movement or clear source of the sound, and as quickly as it came on, it dissipated. The camp looked the same as it had before, and after a short time, with nothing obvious to point to, Carla went back inside her tent and fell asleep. That wouldn't be the end of the strange occurrences that night, though. In a nearby tent, one of the campers woke up when she noticed someone standing at the entrance. The flap had been opened just enough for a flashlight beam to illuminate the darkness inside.
Oh god.
For a moment, the light moved across the tent, then disappeared. The girl wasn't sure of what she had just seen, and she stayed where she was. Like a lot of kids in that situation, she didn't immediately raise an alarm. It was strange, but not something she could fully make sense of, so she too just went back to sleep. Around 3 a.m. though, the quiet was interrupted again, this time by a scream. It came from the direction of the Kiowa unit, and another camper would later say she heard someone crying out for their mother. The sound carried just enough to wake a few of the girls nearby. Once again though, there was hesitation by the campers. In the darkness, with no clear understanding of what was happening, those who heard it did what seemed easiest in the moment. They just stayed where they were.
Camp counselors? What do you mean? What? If I'm a goddamn camp counselor and I hear screams in the middle of the night, bro, I'm grabbing my goddamn shotgun and I'm running. What do you mean?
Faded, so did the odd occurrences that night, and silence settled back over camp.
What? No. They didn't even get up and look? And a reminder that the camp counselors are also teens, kids themselves? Okay, what? There's no way there's not a fucking adult there with a gun. Like, you're gonna take a bunch of children out to the middle of the woods without having a gun? And like having someone who's like a camp counselor, who's like an adult, who's trained? He said campers, right? Not camp counselors. Go back and listen again. No, I know, but like, I'm saying, how did the camp counselors not hear it and like not do anything about it? Maybe they weren't close enough. I assume that's what it is.
Scott. Soon enough, morning came, and as the sun rose through the trees, the sounds of the camp waking up began to echo through the woods. In the Kiowa unit, though, things were still quiet when Carla stepped out early and started walking toward the shower area to get ready for her day. As she walked along the trail in that direction, she noticed something strange just ahead of her. At first, she didn't register what it was. A shape was lying on the ground off the path, partially covered by a sleeping bag.
Oh no.
For a moment, it looked like one of the girls had wandered out during the night and fallen asleep outside. It wasn't completely unheard of. Kids who were away from home for the first time sometimes did odd things at camp. But as Carla got closer to the object, it became clear that something wasn't right. It was Denise, and she was lying with most of her body on top of her sleeping bag. There was no movement and no sign that she
most of her body? What?
Was waking up or even aware of anything around her. It quickly became obvious that this wasn't a situation where someone had simply fallen asleep in the wrong place.
Huh?
Carla then turned and ran for help. She went back to get the camp director and the nurse, trying to explain what she had seen. At that point, the assumption wasn't necessarily that something terrible had happened. Maybe it was some kind of medical situation. When she returned to the scene with the others, though, the situation became much clearer and much worse. They quickly realized that Denise wasn't alone. Just a short distance away, there were 2 more sleeping bags. At first glance, they looked empty or crumpled, but inside were Lori and Michelle. Both had been zipped into their respective bags, and all 3 girls were dead, having been finished in a violent fashion.
Jesus.
Authorities were then called, and by mid-morning, the reality of what had happened was settling in for those who knew, but the rest of the Girl Scouts on the property were kept in the dark. Before noon, the campers were gathered up and told they would be leaving early. Buses were arranged to take them back to Tulsa, and when they arrived back in the city that afternoon...
What if it was one of the counselors, though?
The scene waiting for them made it obvious something terrible had happened. Parents had long since gathered and were anxious to pick their children up.
Yeah, summer camps are like 200 kids with 15 teenagers and 2 to 3 adults. Yeah, that fucking makes no sense. What? That's crazy.
Some were crying, and news cameras had started to show up to capture the scene. It was only when the children were back in the arms of their parents that they learned the truth about why camp ended so soon after it had started. As this was going on, investigators flooded Camp Scott to begin piecing things together. Authorities quickly concluded that the 3 girls had been attacked sometime after they went to sleep. Based on what was found at the scene and later confirmed in the autopsies, the violence had started inside tent number 8. Lori and Michelle were found to have passed from severe blows to the head.
Jesus.
Denise had also been attacked, but in her case, the cause was strangulation. Horrifyingly, all 3 of them had also been assaulted in some way. Then after the attack...
Camp Laszlo would never... That's a poll.
The bodies were moved. Each of them was placed into a sleeping bag, then carried out of the tent and left along the trail that led to the showers. It wasn't far, maybe 150 yards, but it was far enough that they were no longer immediately visible from the tent itself. Investigators also began documenting what had been left behind. Inside and around the tent, there were obvious signs of a struggle. The amount of blood alone told detectives that, but there was other evidence that would become crucial to putting together a picture of what happened, and more importantly, who might have done it. A footprint, later estimated to be from a size 9.5 shoe, had been left behind, and a large red flashlight was found near the bodies. On its lens was a smudged fingerprint, but not one clear enough to identify. The flashlight itself had also been altered and was packed with newspaper, apparently to keep the batteries from rattling around and making noise. A strip of tape was also placed over it to partially dim the beam. Nearby, other items turned up, including a rope, duct tape, and a pair of women's eyeglasses. Whoever had done this hadn't come unprepared, and as the search expanded beyond the immediate area...
The fact that he warned all of them, too, is
more discoveries followed. Not far from the camp, investigators located a cave that appeared to have been used as a kind of hideout or shelter by someone.
This was planned? Yeah, of course it was. Bro literally gave him a warning, too.
Inside were groceries, photographs, newspapers, and additional duct tape matching that at the crime scene. The newspapers inside the cave also matched the pieces found inside the flashlight. But maybe
the killer was here. Bye-bye, fools.
Most chilling of all,
that is the most, like, super villain cartoon shit I've ever seen. Bye-bye, fools! Like, that's what I fucking hear whenever I read this goddamn message. Ha-ha! I have foiled thee! Ha-ha! Goodbye, fools!
A message on the wall of the cave that read, quote, "The killer was here. Bye-bye, fools." The investigation then only ramped up in the days that followed. The scene itself offered pieces of the story, but none of what was found and recovered immediately gave authorities a clear answer on the course of events. What they did have, though, was a growing sense that whoever had done this knew the area. The terrain around Camp Scott wasn't easy to navigate if you weren't familiar with it. Dense woods and scattered backroads made it the kind of place where someone could move around without being seen if they knew where they were going. That led investigators to start looking at people who already had ties to the region. For 10 long days, the public was fed bits and pieces of information during press conferences held by investigators, but behind the scenes, authorities already had a name. On June 23rd, 1977, they went public with it, announcing during a news conference that a man named Gene Leroy Hart had been charged with the killings. At the time, Gene was 33 years old, a local from the Locust Grove area, and already well known to law enforcement. In fact, police were already looking for Gene because he was on the run. Years earlier, he'd been convicted of violent crimes, including the abduction...
Yeah, not gonna lie, I would just arrest him for what he looks like, bro. What the hell?
An assault of 2 women, and later a series of burglaries. His sentences had added up to an astounding...
Face like a bowl of mashed potatoes. Oh, man. Bro got the chicken fat greased up hair, bro.
308 years in prison. But despite that, he
What is that? Yeah, what is that jawline, bro? Like, it's... God damn, what happened?
Custody not once, but twice.
Clavicular could never...
By the summer of 1977, he had been living as a fugitive for 4 years. That alone made him someone authorities were eager to find, but there was more. Gene had grown up in the area surrounding Camp Scott. He knew the woods, the terrain, and the back roads. Investigators believed that he would have been capable of moving through the area without drawing attention, possibly even living off the land if he needed to. Gene was also seemingly connected to the cave. It was a place Gene was known to be familiar with, and some of the items found there were believed to have belonged to him. Taken together, it was enough for authorities to act. To them, Gene fit the profile of what they were looking for. He had a background of violence and was familiar with the area, and in the view of investigators, there were pieces of physical evidence that helped place him nearby. Outside of law enforcement, though, not everyone was so convinced. For some people in Mays County, despite his history, Gene didn't seem capable of the senseless murders. He was someone they had grown up with and gone to high school with. Former teachers and classmates described him as quiet, respectful, and even well-liked.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. Just because he used to be a good guy, or even seems like a lot of fucking serial killers are charismatic and seem like good people. You know what I'm saying? Vincent, thank you so much for 25. Remember to unclench your jaw and hydrate, chat. Too late. It's clenched. It's fully clenched, and I'm not going to drink water. You can't make me.
Their view of him didn't line up with the image of the man authorities were describing.
Thank you.
Others, meanwhile, saw something else in the situation. Gene was a member of the Cherokee Nation, and there were concerns that he had been singled out, either because of his background or because he was already a known criminal who had embarrassed local law enforcement by escaping prison twice. But either way, from the standpoint of the investigation, authorities had their suspect. The only problem at this point was that he was nowhere to be found.
Clench his jaw even harder.
Once Gene was named as the primary suspect.
5 gifted subs from Raleigh. Thank you so much for 5 gifted subs.
Law enforcement agencies from across the region got involved, and before long, the effort had grown into the largest manhunt Oklahoma had seen at the time. Search teams pushed into the Cookson Hills, dogs were brought in, and aircraft flew overhead. Volunteers also joined.
You really could just avoid jail in the 70s like that, huh? Dude, that's why there were so many serial killers back then. Dude, that's why the Zodiac killer or whatever, or like, you know, like serial killers back then, everyone's like, oh dude, they're so smart. They're so great. Jack the Ripper or whatever. No, they're not. It just sucked back then. They couldn't find him because they weren't good at shit. Like, they weren't good at finding people. That's why back then, everyone's like, oh, Zodiac Killer, Jack the Ripper, they're so crazy smart. How do they get away with it? They're not smart. They're not. It just was easy to get away with it back then. Like, it takes like half a brain to figure it out. Dude, Zodiac Killer, dude, I've been saying it to this day. The Zodiac Killer has literally been bullshitting people for so many years. He's been making all these codes. It's fucking nonsense, guys. It's not real. He literally just made up shit. He just put up random shit, and people spend their entire lives trying to decipher it. While he's over there laughing his ass off, while people are wasting their lives away trying to decipher nothing.
Effort combing through areas that law enforcement alone couldn't cover fast enough. But even with all of that,
Jack the Ripper in Record of Ragnarok was super smart. Though, yeah, true. Jack the Ripper in the anime, pretty smart.
Stayed far out of reach. For a while, it seemed possible that Gene might never be found, but then nearly a year after the murders, agents with the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation acted on a tip and made their way to a remote shack in the Cookson Hills. The property was owned by a Cherokee medicine man, and when authorities arrived on April 6, 1978, Gene was there and taken into custody.
People did decipher it, though. Yeah, you want to know why? If you look at something long enough, and you spend enough time on it, you'll find connections. Dude, you could look at random letters and then still find a connection. Like, I could be wrong, but I'm just saying. Bunby, thank you so much for the gifted sub. I'm just saying, like, it would be absolutely hilarious if he did just write random bullshit and people spent their whole lives deciphering it. Because it is true. If you look at random letters or random sequences of codes or whatever, you will figure out some way to decipher something out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Investigators then had to take everything they had gathered and turn it into something that would hold up in court. And some of the evidence was particularly strong. There were items found in the cave that were linked both to the murder scene and Gene himself. Hair samples and other material recovered from the scene were analyzed, and experts believed that the results were consistent with Jean. There was a limit to how far it could go, though. This was years before DNA testing would become standard. In the late 1970s, the science could suggest a match, but it
finding a
couldn't
secret
confirm
in
one
my
with certainty,
alphabet
and that became a
cereal?
problem.
Alphabet
Even some
soup.
within the investigation acknowledged that there was no single piece of evidence that placed Jean inside tent number 8 at the time of the murders. What they had instead was a collection of details that, when viewed together, pointed in his direction. By the time Jean went to trial in March of 1979, the case had already taken on a life of its own. People lined up hours before the courtroom door.
LOL, your fan theory is cute, pig. Okay, I'm actually timing you out for saying that to me. Bro, what did you just say? My fan theory is cute? Bro, get the fuck out. Get out of here. Don't you talk to me like that.
Doors opened, hoping to get a
Get the fuck out of here.
The murders had shaken the region, and now, nearly 2 years later, this was supposed to be the moment of resolution. Jean entered the courtroom, though, looking nothing like what many people expected. He wore a dark blue suit and was neatly put together. He carried himself in a calm, controlled way, and there was nothing outwardly aggressive about him. If anything, his appearance worked in his favor. He didn't look like someone on trial for something this violent. To some, he came across more like a teacher or business professional than a defendant, and this helped him garner more support from the community.
Yeah, because you, dude, it's so annoying. Like, it's like the who's the killer? Who's the killer that everyone found it attractive? It was like, oh, he's so charismatic and cute. He totally couldn't have done it. Not Jeffrey Bezos, not Jeffrey Epstein. Ted Bundy. Okay, there we go. I don't know why I was thinking Jeff. Jeff was in my head, and I couldn't get Jeff out of my head. Ted Bundy, yeah. Like, look at fucking Ted Bundy. Like, everyone's like, oh, what? He couldn't have done it. Look at how nice of a guy he is. Look at how cute he is.
The prosecution presented its case first,
I'm
and they
thinking of
put
Jeffrey Dahmer. That's what I was
together
thinking
all
of,
the
yeah.
individual pieces that painted
Not
Jean as
Jeff
guilty.
the killer, no.
Even despite the uncertainty of the biological evidence, it was a strong
Jeff
picture.
the
But when the
Bundy.
defense began its case, things start to shift. Instead of trying to explain everything away, Jean's defense team focused on the investigation itself. From their perspective, how the evidence had been gathered and interpreted was problematic.
Thank you,
They
Korka.
questioned the reliability
49
of the
months.
forensic work and challenged whether the items found in the cave could truly be tied to Jean in any kind of meaningful way. They even raised the possibility that some of the evidence had been mishandled or planted. More than anything, though, they leaned into the idea that authorities had made up their minds that Jean was the killer early on. Over the course of 10 days, the two sides wrapped up their cases and presented their closing arguments. Things were then handed over to the jury on March 29th, and they spent several hours that day going over what they had heard. When they returned the next morning, it took only 30 minutes more of deliberation to reach a unanimous verdict.
Oh?
Once the jury returned to the courtroom and the charges were read one by one, all of them were followed by a verdict of not guilty.
Oh, what?
The reaction from those in attendance in the courtroom was divided. Some people let out cheers while others sat in silence, trying to process what they had just heard.
Oh.
And outside the courtroom, the response was just as
Dude,
divided.
it only took a few hours, too? Oh, it only took a few hours?
There were those who believed the system had worked exactly as it was supposed to, and that the state had failed to prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt. There were just as many who saw it differently, though. Law enforcement in particular were stunned by the verdict, as they had no doubt that Jean was guilty of the killings. Regardless, though, Jean would walk out of the courtroom that day having been acquitted. Even so, he wasn't a free man. Because of his previous convictions, he was returned to prison to continue serving what remained of a sentence that still stood in excess of 300 years.
Wait, so he got life anyway? But he wasn't convicted of the murder?
And on June 4th,
300, wait, what do you even do to get 300 years? What do you even do besides killing 3 children to get 300 years? I'm confused.
in 1979, Jean's time in prison came to an abrupt end. Just 2 months after his acquittal, Jean had been in the prison yard that day and spent about an hour lifting weights and jogging. At some point during that time, he collapsed and died. He was just 35 years old, and it was determined that he had passed from a massive heart attack. The case of the Oklahoma Girl Scout murders was already one with so many questions left unanswered, and now the person at the center of it all was gone. Whatever answers Gene might have had, if he had any at all, were gone.
Burglary and assault? Yeah, I know, but like he said 300 years. I know he escaped. Is it because he escaped prison and it was on the run? Because 300, I've never heard of 300 years unless it's like he murdered 3 kids, for example. Thank you, Puppy Boy, for the gifted sub.
With him. A few days later, his funeral was held in Locust Grove, and the turnout was significant. An estimated 1,000 people showed up, and it was enough that the service had to be held in a high school gymnasium to accommodate them all. For years after the trial, the case sat in a kind of standstill. There were no new arrests or major breakthroughs in the investigation. Authorities maintained that they had pursued the right suspect. The court, however, had reached a different decision, so without anything new to move the case forward, it remained right where it was. Over time, though, the tools available to examine the evidence began to change. By the late 1980s, DNA testing was starting to become part of criminal investigations. It wasn't as advanced as it would later become, but it offered the ability to compare biological evidence with a level of precision that earlier methods couldn't match. In 1989, evidence from the case was tested again, but once again, the results didn't provide an answer. Some of the findings were consistent with Gene, but they weren't strong enough to draw a definitive conclusion. Statistically, the results could apply to a relatively small group of people that included Gene, but not just one person. Then in 2017, renewed interest led to a new push for testing. Funding was raised to apply more advanced forensic methods with the hope that something meaningful could be pulled from the evidence. This time, the results came back with a bit more clarity. In 2022, authorities announced that the latest testing strongly suggested a link to Gene. While it still didn't produce a complete DNA profile that could conclusively identify him as the source, the findings were enough to rule out several other individuals who had been considered over the years. The only one who couldn't be ruled out was in fact Gene. However, for now, a definitive answer depends on time and technology, and that's where things stand today. As for Camp Scott, it closed on June 13th, 1977, and it was never reopened.
That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. Dude, it's just the fact that they're not gonna, like, they're not gonna figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not gonna have a definitive answer. It's pretty obvious that it's him, but you know. He had been convicted of kidnapping and raping 2 pregnant women, as well as 4 counts of first-degree burglary. That was his previous convictions. Yeah, they must have, I don't know, they must have found some sort of loophole or something to give him 300 years, because that's crazy. My favorite Pokemon? Hello, buddy. You want to know what I caught? You want to know what I caught, Batman? What did you get, Joker? I caught a little putty, Batman. I caught a little putty. Oh, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with the little putty, Joker? Oh, you know what we're gonna do. You know exactly what we're gonna do to the little putty, Joker. You know exactly what we're gonna do. No, Joker. There's no law against Pokemon. There's no law against it. All right, I gotta piss again. I've been drinking a lot of water. 1 second. God, I need a fucking haircut, bro. Holy shit. Can't believe he's peeing on his hands. It's sterile. What do you mean? It's as clean as it gets. Ow. That Hoyt. What are these clips? What is this? You know what we're gonna do? You know exactly what we're gonna do to the low body poker. You know exactly what we're gonna do. No! No, Joker! There's no law against it. My favorite Pokemon? Oh, bunny. It's just this. You guys are fucked up. You guys are fucked up. Urine is not sterile? Yes, it is. Google it. Yes, urine is sterile. Contrary to the long-held medical myth that healthy urine is germ-free, recent research confirms that it is naturally contains nothing, no bacteria, and it is known as completely sterile. Did you guys not know that? You Google it? I just did. I just Googled it. So I can drink piss? Yes, of course you can. So we can pee on people? You guys don't already do that? Show us the Google search? No, bro. You guys could do it yourself. You guys could do it yourself. You guys know how to use Google. I don't got to waste my time on that shit. All right. All right. I ain't wasting my time on that shit. If AI says it isn't sterile, remember AI is always wrong. That is true. That is true. What if the AI said, I will now lie to you? It's lying. Let's see. Let's see. What do I feel like watching? Dino, thank you so much for $2. Oh my fucking God. Thank you for streaming today. You're welcome. You're very welcome. All right, when terminally online creeps become killers. Chat, is this talking about you guys? Talk about you guys.
If you ask people which game has the most toxic player base,
League of Legends. Oh!
large portion.
Oh, dude. It's the truth, bro. It's the fucking truth, man. I'm just saying, it's the truth. I'm one of them.
We'll probably say League of Legends. Though things have apparently improved over the years.
No. No. The only thing that's improved is that whenever someone says the N-word or calls someone the R slur, they just instantly shut off your chat. That's the only reason it's gotten better. It hasn't gotten better. The people haven't gotten better. They've just gotten better at shutting it down.
If you spend enough time playing ranked matches, you'll no doubt have strangers tell you to uninstall the game, dip out at the first sign of a loss, or if you're particularly unlucky, threaten you with violence.
Bro, that's not even, like, what do you, that's it? Are you serious? It gets way worse than that. It gets way worse than that. What are you talking about?
Thankfully, almost all of that's just hot air spewed out by harmless nerds behind a screen. Yet, as one woman from South Korea found out in 2021, such
Hey! You can't, no.
Aren't always empty. The woman in question was 22-year-old Miss Lee. Her real name has never been officially publicized, but according to those who knew her, Lee was kind.
Chat, you want to know something funny about Amy? So, when I play League, I normally just turn off chat because it just tilts me and then I become toxic. Bro, Amy, she literally will... she'll friend people after the game to talk shit. or like if someone friends her to talk shit, she'll accept it and she'll just fucking just go in on them. It's so funny, dude. It's so funny. I get friend requests from people who want to talk shit. I always just ignore it. She's like, give me that. I'm gonna destroy this guy. It's so funny.
Friendly and mature well beyond her years. She's sort of had to be.
Is League good for beginners? It's hard. It's hard. Play against bots. If you ever decide to play League, do not start playing against people. Play against bots for like a solid month before you play against people. It's a very hard game to get into. Cutie Patootie is taking subs for $5. The people in League wouldn't have survived a day in a dress to impress lobby. I've been there.
After losing her father at a young age, Lee took on the role of...
Yeah, it's more beginner friendly than Dota. Out of all of the MOBAs, it's definitely beginner friendly compared to all the other MOBAs, for sure.
Co-parent, looking after her younger sister while her mother was at work, and later getting a job at an animal hospital to help pay the bills. What little free time she had, she spent playing with friends online, and her game of choice was League.
Dude, if there's gonna be a murderer, like, from a internet game, it's definitely a League of Legends player. Like, this isn't even surprising.
Introduced her to people from all over South Korea, and eventually, she was able to build a team of seemingly chill players. One of them was a gold rank 4 player, who went by the username Piglet.
Bro's gold 4 and he's gonna kill someone over it? Bro, that's embarrassing. Even I'm a higher rank than that.
Piglet was by far the quietest member of the crew, only really contributing to the conversation when Lee was online, and acting disappointed whenever she wasn't.
Oh.
Though Lee saw their interactions as nothing more than friendly banter, Piglet attached far greater significance to them. Offline.
Chat, don't you dare, like, just because his name's Piglet does not have anything to do with me. Don't you dare.
Piglet was a 24-year-old shut-in named Kim Tae-hyun. And from as far back as people could recall, he'd been unable to control his emotions.
Classic League player.
Former classmates said that he was an unpredictable and deeply troubled teenager who would suddenly go berserk without warning.
Classic League player, bro.
The men he served with during his mandatory military service described him much the same way.
24-year-old shut-in, classic pig? Okay, don't compare me to this guy.
Randomly fly off the handle.
I can control
and earned
my
a reputation
emotions
for
just fine.
stealing other people's supplies. Following his short stint in the army, Kim got a part-time job at a restaurant, but quit after just one day, saying that it was too hard. The outside world
Okay, no, I would not do that. Shut up.
simply expected too much from Kim, and so he withdrew from it, choosing instead to spend his life in online spaces. The internet became his primary form of social interaction, and PC
That's
Bunks,
not me.
a type of gaming cafe, his home. A particularly kind internet cafe owner had once taken pity on Kim and allowed him to stay in a back room without charging him rent. He even provided him with free food. Too dense to know that he had a good thing going, Kim began stealing money from the store's payment machine.
Oh my god.
And the dope did it in full view of a CCTV camera. The owner inevitably found out and sent Kim packing, but chose not to report him to the police.
What a
because,
nice guy.
as he told a friend, he
Yeah,
didn't
that's what sucks about the world is so many people just take advantage of people's kindness.
want to ruin a young man's future. That act of mercy would have consequences far beyond anyone's imagination. After getting blacklisted from that PC bung, Kim whittled away his days in other cafes, playing various online games, before finally settling on League of Legends. And it was there that he met and fell in lust with Lee. Finally, he thought, he'd found a woman who was
a gamer girl. Oh no.
interested in the same things he was, who treated him politely, who obviously liked him back.
M'lady.
In short, he had mistaken basic kindness for romantic interest, and over
The
time,
classic problem with a lot of men. Oh, she looked at me. She must be interested. Oh, she was being nice to me. She's totally into me.
his obsession quietly festered. After playing together for roughly 3 months,
What's wrong
Kim,
with gamer girls?
Lee, and the rest of their
How in any
team
way did you take what I said as being a negative of being a gamer girl? I'm saying a lot of dudes lust for gamer girls. That's all I was saying.
arranged to meet in person on January
My
23rd.
wife is a gamer girl.
But that gathering quickly became uncomfortable.
Which honestly, I feel like the term gamer girl is like sexist as a whole in general. Because like, it's just like, they just play games. Like you don't say gamer boy. You don't say gamer man. You just say, oh, he plays games. He's a gamer. But when it's a girl, everyone has to say gamer girl. Like, no, you don't. They just are a person who plays games.
He had irritated as he watched Lee joking and chatting with the other members, and he made his displeasure increasingly obvious throughout the evening. Though Lee tried to lighten the mood, an argument eventually broke out. It was serious enough that the following day, Lee sent Kim a message saying that she no longer wanted to associate with him.
Oh no.
Then, she blocked him.
Oh no.
For most people, that's where the story would have ended. Unfortunately, Kim wasn't most people. He refused to accept that their relationship was over. From there, he made new accounts on League and barraged Lee with messages, saying how he wanted to be with her. His requests for attention soon turned to demands. Whenever Lee muted one of his game accounts, he'd just make another. When she blocked one of his phone numbers, he would just obtain a new SIM. Thing is, Kim was looking for more than a mere response. He wanted, in his mind needed, to see Lee in the flesh again.
Dude, his eyes are actually black. I don't even see any pupils. His eyes are unironically just pure black. That is scary.
It's your birthday, so whether you accept this or not is entirely up to you. It's just a small token of my sincerity.
Oh no.
So if you feel like accepting it, just leave me your address, and I'll send it by post.
Oh no.
Well, that obviously wasn't going to happen. Lee shared a flat with her mother and younger sister, and had been careful to make sure that neither Kim nor anyone else she gamed with knew where they lived.
That's good.
Yet somehow,
But he
just
still found
days
out.
after receiving that message, she looked out of her bedroom window and saw Kim standing outside.
How?
Kim had gone through virtually
IP
every
address?
photograph Lee had ever uploaded to social media. In doing so, he
Thank you,
noticed
Cutie
something in the
Patootie, for the
background
$2.
of one seemingly
What is wrong
innocuous
with his
picture.
eyebrows? There's a lot wrong with them.
It was a parcel. And after enlarging the image, he hit the jackpot. The shipping label was visible.
Oh no.
From there on, other residents said that they saw Kim hanging around the building. On one occasion, he reportedly stood outside for around 8 hours in the freezing cold,
What the
waiting for Lee to
fuck?
return home from work. When she finally arrived, she confronted him directly, telling him in no uncertain terms to leave her alone. Later, he sent her this message. Think carefully. This is your last chance.
Jesus.
She replied, "Don't ever come looking for me again." With that, Kim sent Lee one final, veiled threat.
They not call the
I
cops?
told you not to do something you'd regret. It's a shame. Live well. Lee changed her phone number the following day. She hoped that would be enough. Aside from changing her route home from work, there was little else she could really do. The authorities certainly weren't going to help her.
Stalkers are horrifying? Yeah, I know.
At the time, South Korea didn't have a dedicated anti-stalking law.
Oh no.
Obsessive creeps like Kim were dealt with under the Minor Offences Act.
Oh no.
That meant he didn't have to fear prison time for stalking Lee, while she had to constantly fear for her own safety.
Dude, that is fucking
And,
awful.
enraged by the cold shoulder treatment, Kim was about to make sure that Lee's fears...
Yeah, I know cops don't do anything. I was just thinking, oh, maybe if they're in a different country, they have different rules, but obviously they don't.
...were warranted. On March 20th, Kim logged into League using a friend's account. Hiding behind his new alias, he began chatting with Lee all over again. After proving his skills, she agreed to let this new guy join her squad, and began planning time slots for training sessions.
Oh my god, bro.
In doing so, she unwittingly revealed details about her work schedule. Kim now knew exactly when she would be away from her home.
Oh my god.
On March 23rd, he walked into a local PC bung. Despite carrying gaming equipment, he never logged on to a computer. Instead, he wandered between the bathroom, the water dispenser, and the smoking area, almost as if he was scouting out the location, before leaving roughly 10 minutes later. He then crossed into a shopping complex beneath Lee's apartment, where investigators say he stole a knife from a supermarket. From there, he went up to Lee's 10th floor flat in Cheongui-dong, carrying a cardboard package he had brought with him in his backpack. He rang her doorbell at 5:41 p.m. The only person home at the time was Lee's 20-year-old sister, Da-som, who asked through the intercom, "Who is it?" "Delivery." Da-som immediately made a 33-second call to her mother, asking if she was expecting a package. She wasn't. Da-som then sent a text to her sister, Lee, asking, "Did you order something to the house?" "Nope. There's supposedly a courier delivery here. It's not yours, right?" "A courier? No." Through the intercom, Da-som told Kim to leave the parcel outside. Kim placed the box down and stepped out of view. Da-som waited a few minutes, peered through the peephole, and determined it was safe to open the door and grab the package. The moment she did, Kim rushed her. He forced his way inside the flat and pinned Da-som down, and without saying a word, stabbed her repeatedly in the neck, severing her carotid artery. He then sat alongside her body, waiting for Lee to come home, but was startled when he heard Da-som's phone ping. It was a text from her mother.
He fucking killed her sister, bro? Like, what the fuck, man?
"Did you go and check? Something's arrived. What are you doing? Are you in the bath?" Kim himself replied, "Yeah." I haven't found any explanation online as to how Kim accessed Da-som's device. Perhaps he opened her eyes to unlock it. Whatever the answer, he knew he had avoided raising the alarm for the time being. Now all he had to do was wait. At 10:30 p.m., the door handle turned.
I blame League of Legends. I will admit League of Legends is not for people who are, emotionally unstable.
It wasn't Lee. It was her mother. Kim ambushed the unsuspecting 49-year-old and plunged the blade into the exact same spot he had stabbed Da-som. He then hid the bodies and continued watching the clock.
He's just killing her entire
family.
family?
Returned home shortly before midnight. When she stepped inside and closed the door, Kim emerged from his hiding place, covered in the blood of her loved ones. He held out his knife and demanded that Lee hand over her phone and tell him the unlock pattern. One can only imagine how Lee felt in that moment. She tried to negotiate her way out of the situation, calmly pointing out a wound on Kim's arm and offering to call him an ambulance. Kim didn't say a word. He just lunged at the woman he had spent months obsessing over, pinned her down, and stabbed her in the neck.
Jesus Christ.
For 2 days, Kim remained inside
Did
the
no one
flat.
hear screaming at all? That's what I'm confused about. He murdered someone at the front door. Like, I thought he was just going to get caught after killing her sister, but he murdered someone at the front door of the building. No one? No one at all? Like, that's crazy.
Living alongside the bodies of his 3 victims, eating their food and drinking their beer. He spent his time going through Lee's phone, deleting messages, call logs, mutual gaming contacts, anything that linked him to her. For months, Kim had done everything imaginable to force himself into Lee's life. After taking it, the first thing he tried to do was erase every trace he had ever known her. The second was to rage quit from existence. Using that same blade, he curled up beside Lee and punctured his own neck.
Wow.
Why he tried to hide his connection to Lee, only to then try and die inside her apartment, is anyone's guess. Though I don't think we're dealing with a criminal mastermind here.
Wow.
Perhaps because he had no real friends of his own, Kim underestimated just how quickly people would come looking for Lee. Unbeknownst to him, she always phoned her best friend while walking home from work. When those calls suddenly stopped, that friend sensed that something was wrong. In fact, they became so concerned that they called the police and asked them to conduct a welfare check. Officers arrived at the apartment on March 25th, and, noticing a foul smell seeping from under the door, forced an entry. Inside, they found Kim, unconscious, but still very much alive.
Oh my God, of course.
He had failed at death, just as much as he had failed at life. Following his arrest, prosecutors uncovered some disturbing information.
Hopefully he just suffered. I hope he suffered
This was
so
far
hard
from
when
Kim's
he cut
first
himself
offense.
like that.
In fact, he had a long history of tormenting women and girls. In 2015, he had been fined for directing sexually abusive remarks at a woman. Several years later, he'd been caught entering a women's restroom and photographing someone inside one of the stalls.
What the fuck?
In a third case, he had repeatedly contacted a teenage girl, leaving her messages consisting of explicit noises. Kim never received any prison time for those offenses.
What the
because,
fuck?
as mentioned, they were considered misdemeanors rather than serious
God
crimes.
forbid women exist, bro.
Instead, he was
God
issued
forbid a woman be nice to a man.
fines totaling 4.3 million won, less than $3,000. The last of those fines was paid less than 2 weeks before he took his
Jesus.
victims' lives. Had he actually been jailed, then Lee, her mother, and her sister would still be alive. In front of reporters, Kim tried to present himself as guilt-ridden and remorseful, taking off his face mask and asking for forgiveness.
Oh my
But the whole
God,
act
what a
came off
piece
as
of
rehearsed.
shit.
According to psychologists,
He's even got a
the young
fucking
killer
neck beard.
had both an inferiority complex and an overinflated sense of pride, and had become obsessed with receiving attention and affection from others, things which had eluded him all his life. In the minds of many, Kim felt no real remorse whatsoever. He was just milking his big moment. In court, Kim admitted that he had planned to slay Lee, but claimed that he accidentally killed her mother and sister. He of course couldn't control his actions, and his defense therefore argued he was only guilty of one homicide.
Oh my God,
In
bro.
contrast, prosecutors
Shut
described
the
a man
fuck up.
driven by anger rather than mental illness. Digital forensic investigators had found searches on his computer relating
Oopsie,
to
I killed your sister and your mom. My bad. Oops.
vulnerable areas of the human body and methods of killing people quickly. Clear proof of premeditation. That, in combination with the mountains
I know South Korea is really misogynistic. I mean, the majority of society is.
of other evidence, was enough to secure 3 murder convictions. Prosecutors sought the death penalty. Instead, Kim received a life imprisonment. Though many found that hard to swallow, the judge justified his decision by saying that in South Korea, capital sentences are essentially symbolic. The nation has maintained a de facto moratorium on executions since December 1997. However, prisoners on death row don't have to perform manual labor like ordinary inmates. Though they can never
Really?
be paroled, In a way, they have it easier. In the judge's opinion.
Wait, why?
Life in prison, with a recommendation that parole never be granted, was actually the harsher sentence. Though a parole board could theoretically release him after a period of 20 years, per the judge's recommendation, he'll likely never see the light of day again.
You fucking better not.
Realizing a major flaw in their legal system, South Korea's National Assembly passed the Stalking Punishment Act on March 24th, 2021, one day after Lee, her sister, and their mother were killed. Today, stalking is punishable by up to 3 years.
Honestly, I think, like, the moral of the story, guys, don't play League of Legends.
In prison, or a fine of 30 million won, or 5 years and 50 million won
You might
if committed
die.
while carrying a dangerous weapon. The act came into effect in October that same year.
Don't be a woman as well. Yeah, true. Moral of the story, don't be a woman, guys, all right? Stop playing League? Who said I play League? Edgelord?
As long as the internet's existed,
Guys, I would
people
never.
have wallowed in its mucky underbelly. Well before Mondo content started
prove
appearing in our
anything.
social media timelines, sites like Bescore, Ogreish, and Rotten were attracting millions of visitors.
Wait, what did you clip this time? Pig new.
If you ask people which game has the most toxic player base,
League of Legends. Oh! Yeah, I mean, I called it.
annually,
Did call it.
those specific sites have since gone extinct, but the internet remains just as blood-buttered as ever. In the early hours of February 26th, 2026, users across several platforms began sharing 3 separate recordings, allegedly filmed in Poland. I'll describe them here as best I can, but seriously, don't go searching them out. In the first video,
Everybody in chat after the video goes to find it. You fucking disgusting weirdo.
shot from the first-person perspective, the cameraman holds up a chisel-ended hammer. The footage then cuts to a bedroom, where a man lies in a bed, covered in blood, gurgling and making a death rattle.
Oh!
It's clear that the cameraman has already struck him several times with the hammer. He stands over him, filming with one hand, then raises the hammer in his other, and slams the chisel end into the victim's skull.
Oh!
There's no background music, just the crunch of the final blow, and
what
the
the
eerie sound
fuck?
of the killer laughing as he turns the camera and reveals his face. It's a teenage
Oh. Bro.
boy. He smiles into the lens and licks the bloody hammer.
Ugh!
The second video is filmed from a fixed position in a different bedroom. An elderly woman lies in bed, with a hot drink and a piece of cake on a nearby table. Her eyes are still open, staring at the camera, perhaps wondering why it's been set up there.
Oh,
A radio
no.
can be heard playing Elton John's Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me as she rests. Without
Oh,
hesitation,
no.
the same teenage boy steps into frame with an axe, gleefully raises it over his head, and brings it crashing down onto the woman several times.
Why?
Afterwards, he turns towards the camera and grins down the lens,
Okay,
as if he
what?
had just pulled off a funny prank. In the third and final recording, the boy films graphic close-up shots of his victim's injuries. Many people who saw those videos claim that they were fake or AI generated, but there was just something unmistakably visceral about them. Poland's Central Cybercrime Bureau thought so as well, and after being forwarded the material by concerned social media users, they were able to identify the property where it had been filmed, a house in the village of Kardów. When local officers went
I'm gonna be so cool on 4chan. That's probably what he's
to
thinking.
investigate, they made a grim discovery. Inside the home were the bodies of a man and an elderly woman, both of whom had been killed only hours earlier. Their faces and their wounds matched those seen in the videos. The cameraman, who was absent from the scene, was quickly identified as 17-year-old Lukasz G. The victims were his 38-year-old stepfather and 87-year-old great-grandmother.
But why, though?
Lukasz's mother, who also lived at the property, had been admitted to hospital for a scheduled medical procedure on the 25th. Investigators believe that her hospital stay likely saved her life, though it is possible that Lukasz intentionally chose to act while his mother was away. Before going on the run, Lukasz had taken the time to publish his so-called home movies to a now-defunct site called Watch People Die, along with a manifesto in which he wrote
that was a website?
how he wanted to become notorious and encouraged others to make stupid edits out of his recordings. He also
Sounds like
wrote
something
that he
you guys
wasn't
would
a
watch.
bad person, and blamed his warped mental state on junk food, sugary drinks, obesity, and acne.
Yeah, I've never
Strangely,
heard of that actually.
he contradicted himself in a video, which he uploaded to YouTube
God, dude, he is disgusting.
immediately after the incident. In that clip,
What, does he just have one tooth, or is it just his lip?
he claimed that he had been unhappy at his work placement, saying that another employee had been pushing him around. He wanted to quit. His stepfather, however, forced him to keep going. Lukasz also admitted to calling in numerous bomb threats throughout Poland, targeting schools and hospitals, all while posing as a well-known Minecraft YouTuber. At the end of the video, he signed off with this.
Hey, I'm Captain Sparkles. I'm gonna bomb your school! Like, what?
This is my final statement. It's simply the end. How can I justify murder? In my opinion, it's just part of life. It's part of being human. People used to kill each other all the time, and nobody had a problem with it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've always had a problem with it. What?
Nowadays, you're immediately labeled a psychopath.
Yeah. Because you are.
Don't believe I'm mentally ill. Right now.
Yeah. You are. Who the hell just said based? All right. You're getting kicked, bro.
I might seem a bit like that because I'm stressed.
Someone in
I've never
chat
killed
just
anyone
said
before.
based to him saying that? Really?
Not even an animal. Anyway,
Even as a
you'll
joke?
find most of this
what
on
the fuck?
Watch People Die, or in some folders. Goodbye. Frustratingly, this attack hadn't come out of the blue. 2 months before the double murder, the YouTuber who Lukasz impersonated had his home searched by police for explosives. Said YouTuber told them to look into Lukasz days before the massacre, but unfortunately, they didn't take action until it was
they didn't.
too late.
Of course. They never do.
Well,
until people are dead. They have to wait until people... They're the cleanup crew, bro. Cops are the fucking cleanup crew. They have to wait until people die, and then they do something. They don't protect. They don't serve. They wait for someone to die, and then they clean up the mess.
Footage continued to spread online. Police launched a large-scale search for their fugitive.
I think they were saying, based on what you were saying about how we always had a problem with murder. Yeah, I doubt that. They could always, I mean, it's a timeout. They'll be fine.
The manhunt didn't last long. At just after 1 PM on February 26th, they found Lukasz hiding in some bushes in a neighboring county. He surrendered without incident and freely admitted to both slayings. During a search of the surrounding countryside, officers found items discarded along Lukasz's escape route, including the axe used in the attack. A few days later, investigators brought Lukasz back to the house to reconstruct the crime himself. He walked detectives through the events of that night and demonstrated where he had positioned the camera before
There's no crime to investigate if someone doesn't die. Yeah, true.
attacking his great-grandmother. He remained eerily calm throughout the reconstruction, almost as if he wasn't really there. People who knew Lukasz described how over the past few years he had become increasingly withdrawn, how he spent almost all of his time online, how he had become fixated on violent content. He was an active member of the aforementioned WPD, where he spent countless
Yeah, totally not. Totally psychologically fine.
hours
totally mentally
watching
okay.
footage of real-world deaths. Just days before the incident, he had even shared a video of himself repeatedly swinging an axe at inanimate objects, as if rehearsing for his big moment in the spotlight.
Wow.
In the site's discussion section, he openly
Police should prevent crime, though? Yeah, emphasis on should.
fantasized about chopping up members of his own family, posted photos of his weapons collection, and said once the police caught him, the only thing he'd truly miss in this world would be his computer. WPD wasn't the only place Lukasz broadcast his intentions though. His ravings had spilled over into more mainstream parts of the internet. For example, his Discord server, which was dedicated to
His Discord server.
serial killer worship.
What? Dude, he has a Discord server dedicated to serial killer worship? Dude, just honestly find every single person in that Discord server and arrest them, bro. Put them in prison. What?
Rules including be racist, insult people as much as possible, and don't post someone's death outside.
Dude, this is just your average chud. This is just your average chud. Like what? Be racist, hate women, piss people off. It's so funny, bro. Oh my god, so many lib tears whenever I'm being racist.
The designated channel. On that fateful night of February 25th, he had changed his Instagram bio to read, "My family will be dead today." And taken in isolation, any one of those posts might have been dismissed as an edgelord role-playing as a killer. And together, they painted a far more disturbing picture.
I mean, he's still an edgelord. It doesn't matter if like killing doesn't like negate the being an edgelord thing. Like these guys are fucking cringe as hell, and they think they're so fucking cool, but they're edgelords at the end of the day, even if they do end up killing someone.
That of a gore-obsessed degenerate who wanted to immortalize himself by becoming part of internet culture. Psychiatric experts found that Lukasz G was fully aware of his actions and capable of controlling them.
Let me guess, he's Platin League? No. No, dude, the thing is I feel like every person who is fucking insane mentally on League are always like fucking silver or bronze. Because they don't have like the mental capacity to like be smart enough at the game to actually rank up. Like you unironically need to be somewhat emotionally in control of yourself in order to rank up in League. Like if you don't have your emotions on lock to an extent, but like you need to have your shit in order to rank up in that kind of game.
Though they did identify developmental and personality disorders during their assessment. Either way, he was deemed fit to stand trial. When that time comes, under Polish law, he faces a maximum sentence of 30 years in prison.
Have I always streamed this early? No, I just started streaming this week early. That's why Pig is bronze. I'm not bronze! Shut up! I'm gold 1,
On December
guys.
21st,
I'm almost
2025, Reddit user DPH
I'm just kidding, I don't play League.
made a post titled, "Possible Serial
don't even
Killer
play
in
League.
Louisville?" So, my friend is in the LMPD, and he said he overheard detectives from the homicide unit.
Wait, Toe Hunter? Wait, what did I miss? Toe Hunter? Yep, this is about Pig. What are you fucking talking? Okay, shut up.
Talk about multiple killings of unhoused people near the I-65 interstate.
I'm done.
And
I
they were
can't.
saying how the killer supposedly drew a symbol near the bodies. Can we get more information about this, please? We need to know for sure. As local users pointed out, at the time the thread was posted, there was no public murder investigation involving homeless people in Louisville. The OP said that the spree was being deliberately kept out of the news to avoid causing panic. Most readers dismissed his post as fiction. Others looked at his username and post history, noticed he spent most of his time babbling about Benadryl, and wrote the post off as drug-induced psychosis or a bizarre attempt at trolling. Still, at least one user forwarded it to the LMPD in Kentucky, who were able to confirm that no bodies and no symbols had been discovered. Well, not at that point at least.
Wait, is he chopping off
On
toes?
December 25th, a homeless man was ambushed and stabbed by a white male dressed in black. Unfortunately, he was able to escape with his life and contact the police. Concerned this wasn't a one-off incident, the authorities began to search areas around the city where other rough sleepers were known to stay. Sadly, on the morning of December 26th.
Pig, you need to get off the Benadryl before you start hunting toes? All right, I'm going to start banning people.
They did indeed find a body beneath an overpass near Interstate 65. The victim was Michael Howard, a 55-year-old homeless man.
8 toes cut off, 7 recovered at the scene, 1 missing. Why?
To experts,
what the fuck?
He'd been killed 2 days prior, on the 24th. The scene was unlike anything most detectives had encountered. Howard had suffered numerous stab wounds. His genitalia and 8 of his toes had been cut off. Only 7 of them were recovered at the scene.
What?
While everyone else was preparing for Christmas celebrations all around, some sicko was brazenly mutilating the remains of a man he had just butchered. This wasn't someone motivated by money or revenge, but by a fascination with death itself, and that made him particularly dangerous.
No, I didn't see the one below it.
Investigators knew it was only a matter of time before he struck again. Fortunately, the perp had left them a morbid clue. He had carved symbols into his victim's skin. Several officers remembered the Reddit post, which seemingly foreshadowed the crime. Given the timing and the mention of symbols, whoever had written it was either Nostradamus or the culprit. Investigators served a legal process on Reddit, requesting information connected to the DHP trip alt account.
Benadryl tripping is so dangerous, especially if you're dumb enough to keep doing it. Yeah, it's like Robitussin as well. It's like it fucks you up.
Also traced the associated IP addresses and discovered that the user had repeatedly connected from locations around Louisville. Those records pointed towards Michael Christoph, a 21-year-old man who was known to go around town wearing tactical gear.
Dude, all of these dudes are so fucking young, too.
Christoph had been investigated in the past for making online threats and matched the description of a guy who had been harassing homeless people in the local area. He also happened to live just 7 minutes from where Michael Howard was slain. The deeper detectives dug, the more obvious it became that Christoph was their man. Search warrants executed on his electronic devices uncovered a long-standing obsession not just with DPH, but with mass murderers and white supremacy. On forums, he had talked about hunting homeless people, searched for various methods of killing, and shared material of himself torturing animals.
Of course.
Surveillance cameras had captured Christoph moving through the area around the time that Michael Howard died. His scooter matched the one seen in the footage. Cell phone records also placed him near the scene, and a backpack belonging to Christoph just so happened to be splattered with traces of the victim's blood. Inside it, authorities found the most damning piece of evidence of all.
It's a toe.
Michael Howard's missing toe.
Oh my god. He kept
On
the
May
toe.
15th, 2026,
He actually kept the toe.
detectives were covertly monitoring Christoph's residence on Whitney Avenue. When his mother left the house, a SWAT team moved in to execute his arrest warrant. But the young maniac didn't plan on going quietly. He barricaded himself inside the property, put on his body armor, and prepared for a last stand.
Of course he has body armor. Of course he does.
Negotiators spent hours attempting to persuade him to surrender. Instead, Christoph fired multiple rounds at officers. When they deployed a drone to assess the situation inside, Christoph shut it down. At one point, he even called 911 himself and explained how things were going to end.
Michael Christoph, I'm having a shooting with the SWAT team of your department. I am not surrendering. I am going to die. I am not here to kill you all. I'm here to show but you're not. Wait, say that again? I am not here to kill you all. I'm here to be shot by them.
Proceeds to shoot
Finally,
at them.
Christoph emerged from the house and stood in the doorway. He was told numerous times to drop his firearm, but refused. Ultimately, an officer fired a single shot and dropped him. Christoph died at the scene.
Damn, one shot,
In the
one
aftermath,
kill?
many questioned whether Michael Howard truly was Christoph's one and only victim. Christoph clearly wanted to claim more lives. His attempt on December 25th and his premature Reddit confession were proof of that. But was that confession really premature? Could Christoph have actually been a serial killer with a long list of past victims?
I mean, the
Because they were
thing is if it's homeless people, he probably could. Because, like, they just with homeless people, like, cops just don't give a fuck. They don't really
Thus,
care.
is it possible that their deaths simply didn't draw any attention?
There's
Could
like,
Christoph have
another
made his
homeless
post
person
on
died.
r/Louisville
Oh well.
out of frustration because he wasn't receiving the attention he desired? As of today, we simply don't know.
Imagine losing everything, including your home, and people just hate you because of that. Yeah, I know. That's the problem with the world. Is like people think that homelessness is laziness, but that's like I mean, sure, there's probably some people in the world who are just that lazy and just don't get jobs, sure. But the majority of them are just people who are down on their luck, got screwed over multiple times, got addicted to drugs, and are just in a horrible situation. You know what I mean? They see it as a moral failing. Yeah, I know. It's so horrible. Because so many people, especially nowadays, are homeless because of the economy, are homeless because of this current state of the world. And has nothing to do with being lazy. Like that one video we saw of that like millionaire talking to a homeless person. He's like, yeah, I would never become homeless because I just wouldn't make bad decisions. It's like, that's not how it fucking works, bro. A lot of people, yeah, like veterans, definitely veterans, a lot of them are just like, they just can't get a fucking job. They can't get a job. They get screwed over. They get kicked out of their house. Like, it's just, shit happens, bro. Doesn't matter how hard you try. Still didn't explain why they cut off genitalia? Bro is just a freak. Bro, just a freak. All right. With that, I'm going to be done for today. I'm hungry. I'm actually really hungry. I'm going to eat a little sandwich. Maybe like a salami sandwich or some shit. I don't know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys Friday. I might not stream tomorrow because Ezra has his dentist appointment. If I don't see you guys tomorrow, I will see you guys Friday. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye.